Hi, Sita.
Hi.
Finally, yeah. After 2 hours, yeah. I
I
think
know.
I think
Finally.
it's also good for us to practice it because when you go to Dom, we should do this.
I know.
uh, okay. So the first question is, it said, why did Yang choose to incorporate the story of the Monkey King into his memoir or whatever
Miss.
word is that?
Mm.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think. Well, I tried to look up like answers to the questions, but I didn't
Mhm.
really say like. There's nothing really that I found that said like why he chose to do that. But I think just based on what I think that um it's kind of like his way of foreshadowing um telling us what's to come by using that story. So like I think so when he was sharing that story and then after that I saw the next part was of the story of Jin. I was like, "Oh, there must be a reason why he chose that story to start with." And then when we read on we find out like that it's kind of similar with Jin and Danny. So I think it was like that's that's what I think. I'm sure there's other reasons why. What do you think?
For me, I think he include the Monkey King to show how like he was capable of doing a lot of things, and he thinks that because he can do that, he think he's like higher than everyone else. And I think that why he included it is for us to see that what's coming, like you said,
Yeah,
like the Monkey King didn't accept that he's monkey, and so he wants us to see that the next story coming, it will be kind of the same or similar to it as well.
yeah,
Even though they don't connect, but they show the same character or the same, I don't know, like things that we can learn from it.
yeah. I think also it's kind of like a play on because I think that's more kind of like a folklore from their culture.
Uh
And
huh.
so like him bringing that in, it's kind of like introducing sort of like a background on Chinese folklore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so,
Exactly.
and then he kind of applied it to like a modern Chinese student living in America, and and then like to me it seems like he's also comparing, like he's using it as a comparison, like this thing is an ancient story of the Monkey King that comes from China, and then this is another story of a modern day Chinese student in America, and yet they still have the same kind of dilemmas, even though it's like different kinds of dilemmas, but they still have it's kind of similar in a way. So
Yep.
I think that's another reason why he used that, which I thought was really interesting.
Yep. I agree, Sita. You just answered our first question.
We just answered.
The second one is, how does this tale function in Yang's storytelling, and how does he make it relevant for contemporary readers? I think like what we already talked about, I think this story, The Monkey King, portrays like to us the importance of accepting who we are and not not letting the environment, or like not letting those around us, like,
Change.
yeah, change ourselves for them,
So
to be
bad.
able to be accepted to the
Yeah.
public, or to the community. And so I really, I think it's
Oh,
something
you're
that
the third group member.
yeah. So I think um that is that's why Yang used the Monkey King as part of his story.
Yeah. Sorry, can you read the question again?
Sorry, it says, how does this tale
Yeah.
function in Yang storytelling?
Function?
Yeah, function. And then it means like, how does this
Tail function in Yang's.
yeah, how
So that's
does,
the question.
I think it means like, oh my gosh. 等等吧，等等吧，等等吧，Hurry up. I think it meant hurry up, not I'm lying. Kasi I'm lying. I think it meant like, why was this story important? Why did he put this story in his storytelling? I'm an
Yeah.
mountain guy.
I think like just thinking about the story and the Monkey King, like in the beginning he was nice and he was kind and helpful to his little monkey people. And
Yeah,
then like uh, his traumatic experience of going to heaven and being rejected, even though he was a king and he was deity, you know. So like him getting rejected and then him having to come back down, and then because of the rejection that he didn't have any shoes and he was a monkey. So because of that, I think it kind of made him embarrassed and it changed him. And so like just looking like I think it's the same thing that applies in the story of Jin, because he's kind of put in an area where he's different, like the monkey.
yeah,
And he goes through that whole embarrassed and shame about himself phase. And it's the same with Danny, where he's kind of popular almost. And then his cousin came along, and it just kind of changes everything. So he's embarrassed again. And it's more, like you said earlier, it's more because of of who they are that kind of embarrasses them. So I think it was important that he puts that story there to kind of weave the three parts or the three
together.
characters together and
Yeah,
kind of say, hey, in this contemporary world, the same problem that happened back in the day still occurs now. Like the same message, I guess you can say, even if it's different experiences.
yeah. And I think it also connects with, how the Monkey King confront the creator, the one
Yeah.
that creates him, and when he was like telling the Monkey King, you're a monkey, you're just a monkey, and he's like, no, I'm not. And he's like, I created you, like, you're telling me
Yeah.
that like, and it brings me to understand how it also take um him to be patient with himself and
Hmm.
appreciate, and be grateful for who he is.
Yeah.
And so that just creates, him getting mad and trying to fight with everyone else, and destroying everything else, and so I think he include that stories for us to see that, Heavenly Father created us for who we are. We're special for our own self. We
Hmm.
cannot be like anyone else. We cannot try to be someone else.
Yeah. As much as I'd like to be you, I can't.
Don't be like the Monkey King, yeah.
As much as I would love to, I can't. I just got to stay the same monkey person.
Okay. The third question, it said, what societal attitude, values, or ideals are conveyed and challenged in this book? I'll read it
Society.
again. What societal attitude, or like society attitude,
Uh-huh.
values, or ideal are conveyed and challenged in this book? I think for me, this book brings to society um, the culture um, and the race. It does still happen today, as we see.
Yeah.
Uh, the monkey didn't accept that he's a monkey, and Chin didn't accept that he's Asian,
Hmm.
and Danny didn't want to accept that it's the same person, that he's Asian too. And so it brings to the society that people nowadays don't accept who they are anymore, and also racist too,
Yeah.
how the people were looking down at the monkey and mocking him and stuff, like, and also Jane too, how the teacher was like, oh, he came all the way from China, but he just
Yeah.
came from where? San Francisco?
Taiwan. Oh.
No,
Oh,
Jen.
yeah.
Yeah,
Chin.
he just came from the mainland, and they were like, oh, he
He's
came
from
all the way from
China.
China. Yeah, so it's true. It happened.
Stereotyping as well.
So this book brings a lot of like different things to for us to learn. That's my thought.
Yeah, I think so too. Like I think racism plays a big role in that. I think, like for example, there was a part where, like for Jin, when he was finally talking with what's her name?
Amelia
Tapalumu.
Susie.
Amelia, yeah, Tapalumu. Oh,
I
same
did.
name as you. When he was talking with you. But when he was finally talking with Amelia, went on a date with her, and he had a great time. Then, um, was it Greg?
Yeah, it's Amelia's good friends.
Yeah. But then Greg came along and he's like, "Oh, can you stop talking to her? I've been close with her for a very long time, and I don't think like she needs to start looking at her future, and she shouldn't be, seen with, well, I'm not sure if it said seen, but pretty much is what they mean. And so, like, even though they don't come out and say right away that it's because he's an Asian guy or whatever, but it was kind of inferred that that's what he was talking about. Like, she can't be seen with this guy, she's got to be seen with popular white people, I guess.
Yep.
And and then like you said, the teacher stereotyping that he came from China when he came from San Francisco.
Uh-huh.
And then when what's the other guy's name?
Chin
Chin
Wei Chin.
Wei Chang, um well, his friend, Chin's friend, when he came from Taiwan, the teacher's like, "Oh, this is Chen from China,
Yeah.
like they just automatically assume that they're all from the same place, where because he was from Taiwan.
Yep.
And I think it shows though like how some people, it kind of like depicting how people are kind of like right now, for example, even not just with the Asians, but like with Polynesians, you show up and they're like, oh, this is Crystal from Micronesia or Samoa, or they just assume that, or Hawaii, that
Yeah.
everybody's from the same place. And so I think in a way that's kind of showcased in how the society looks at things. I feel like I'm talking so much.
No, no, girl, you go. Okay. Next one it says, how does American-born Chinese challenge conventional literary forms and genres? Is it how you say that?
What? How does
How does American-born Chinese conveyed literary forms and wait, I'll write it here.
how do I see that?
You see it? No? Just how does American born Chinese challenge conventional literary forms and genres? Is it GENRES?
G
And
N E
RES.
R genres?
Yeah, that's how you say it, genre. I said wrong earlier, and my husband's like, it's genre, and I don't remember how you say it.
No, I think like sometimes we know what it means when we read it, but we don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
That's okay. English
Sure.
second language. How does? Sorry, one more time.
How does I think what it means like how does American born Chinese novel different from all other novel? Like why is it different? Like what's so special about it? That's what my husband was explaining to me before.
Hmm. What do you think?
I think like action movies, like fairy tale movies, or fairy tale novels. I think it stand out the American Chinese challenge. American born Chinese. It stood out because it's all about values, of those characters that were in the novel.
Yeah.
And it focuses so much of like how they've changed in the story slowly and they change into this different person.
Myself.
And it shows how like the world is. Um I also think that it like for myself it shows me that it's really important to how would I say this? It's really important for us to like when we move to somewhere else or like when we're surrounded by different people,
Uh.
it's important for myself as a Tongan to embrace who I am,
Mhm.
and to know my culture and able to like talk in Tongan to my kids and they would understand me. That's how you embrace it. And so that's what I've been doing. I've been talking Tongan to my little girl, and she understands me. And it's something that it is important for myself. I think it depends on the people. If it's important for them, then they'll embrace it. But if it's not that
Yeah.
important, then I don't think it will be as important for them to live it. So I think that's why I think that's why this American Born Chinese novel is different.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I think, like, with what you're saying, that was like part of that was one of the themes for the story. Like, self acceptance and like just accepting yourself and your race and everything about you, and just going with it. So I think it's something that's important. And like, I think that I'm trying to remember what the question is.
How does American Born Chinese challenge conventional literary forms and genres?
Okay. How does American born Chinese challenge conventional
Literary forms
forms
and
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 genres?
genre, yeah.
How does American? I'm so slow. I have to like say it to myself.
No, it's okay. This is the same as me.
Born Chinese challenge conventional literary form. Well, I think like this story, like it's kind of different because like the way it's written, it's like in three different parts.
Uh-huh.
So like it goes in and out of each story, that um which kind of is a little bit confusing in the beginning, but towards the end you see how they all come together, like woven together. And so like in normal like conventional writing, that's not really the case.
Yeah.
But I think this author was very brave to be able to do such a complex kind of um, writing, make it very understandable and like enough for children to read.
Yeah. Sorry.
And then no, you're fine. And then like I think like because the genre for it, it's like I forgot what it was. Folklore. It was
I mean,
I forgot what it was, but I had it in my notes that's in the computer. That's
I
not
think
working.
I know what you're trying to get out though.
Yeah, but like
It's it's just different from all like the other story. All the other story they like flow, like it goes from like it just flow. But this one is like three different background of people and different places, but it all comes to like
yeah, and it's like context to context. And even though it's like three different parts and three different story that is woven together, it still flows. You still understand it.
yep,
So like so that was pretty neat.
yep.
Uh
I agree.
yeah, but
I can't see you though.
oh, you can't see me?
Yeah.
Oh, what? Let me see why. Can you see anything?
Nope.
Where am I?
It's okay. It's only fine. Go
Yeah.
to let's go to the next question. I think
Well,
it's
it's fiction. At least we know that much.
I know.
It's not fiction.
This is the last one. What
Okay.
message does the graphic novel send about a particular theme? So we're talking now about the theme or the thesis statement.
Yeah.
So what message does it show? I think for my thesis statement is that, hold on a second. Oh dang it, I have it in my other computer. My thesis statement was something like around close to this one, but it
Yeah.
was more about accepting who we are and not trying to change ourselves to be accepted by the community or others.
Yeah.
And that's something I've learned from this story is not to complain about myself, everyone's not perfect and I probably have a lot of mistakes, but I need to accept that I am human and um, I still need to embrace myself for what I'm becoming.
Right.
And what else? And it's important for me to be a good example to my kids, for them
Mhm.
to be able to accept who they are one day, And um, I think it's sometimes we go through our days and there's so many things that bring us down, but if we just keep holding on, I can see you now.
Oh no.
If we keep holding on and push harder and um, be positive, then we'll
Yeah.
make a big change.
Yeah.
That's what I learned.
Yeah. I think also like as far as themes, um, it's so important that we do accept ourselves, even if we're different,
Uh-huh.
and just learn to live with ourselves and love ourselves. But I think also it's important as well that we are accepting others who are different from us
Yep.
and helping others who are struggling with accepting who they are.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's
So,
something. Yep.
yeah, cuz I think like there are some people that find it hard to accept themselves, but then there are some people who don't find that hard at all, but find it so much harder to accept others who are different from them. And so
Yep.
like I think it's just us learning to coexist with people that are not the same with us and
Mm-hmm.
to really coexist with ourselves and learn how to live with ourselves and love ourselves. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's something I forgot to mention is to also help others love themselves and embrace themselves as well.
Yeah.
Not only ourselves, but care for what other people is.
Mhm. Yeah. It's true.
I think that's it, girl. That's all the questions we answer. All the questions.
Yeah, and we answered
And
it by ourselves.
huh?
And hopefully we answered them right.
No, we did, girl. Don't worry about it. We did. We did a good job. Um, and so our next one will be kind of the same as this one.
Uh-huh.
But it's a different novel. But it's gonna be next week, the
What day
17th.
next?
Next week, Friday.
Oh, okay, so the next hangout is next week Friday.
Yes.
Okay, so I have time.
So,
I'm not gonna be on the plane.
oh, you won't be traveling yet, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So we can do it whatever you want. I'm just glad that we already find a way for this to work.
Now, finally, we started at 5 and now it's what? 10?
And
5
then,
hours
yep,
and a half later.
yep.
All right.
I'm just glad we learned it, how to do it.
Yeah. And we made our 30 minutes.
But also, there's an assignment that's due also with this video.
Uh-huh. For
It
the
is,
thesis.
huh?
Is it the thesis one?
The what?
The thesis statement.
No, it's a paper.
Oh, okay.
It's a 1.5. Oh, a
Analysis
2 page,
paper.
yeah, or 2 page paper discussing the way the novel adapts folklore. And it also had to bring evidence from the text, quotes, and we can decide if we want to write it together or students may take turns, can be responsible for the paper.
Take turn responsible for the paper.
Every group member must contribute to every group discussion by sharing an answer to each question, a thesis statement, and at least 2 quotes. Oh, so that's include 2, yeah?
2 quotes.
Like sharing an answer to each question, a thesis statement, and at least 2 quotes to support answer. I didn't know you're supposed to write this down, your answer.
Eventually we'll figure it out, yeah.
Figure it out before 12. uh,
So the paper is, so it's not a paper each,
it's
a,
one paper for a group, yeah.
okay. Do you want to end our video and send a thing and we message?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
I'll end it and then I'll submit it, okay?
Okay.
Bye, Sita.
Bye.